Let's practice the high serve, solid forehand style with Victoria in the Tour 7 of Tennis Clash, a sports game published by White Life Studios. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel Gameplay 365 if you like this video. So this high serve to follow up with solid forehand stroke style of play is quite popular in the big weekly tournaments of Tennis Clash. It can work pretty well versus a lot of styles: a low serve counter puncher, low serve aggressive baseliner, high serve solid forehand, serve volley. Of course, and when you play with this style, you need to anticipate a minimum so as to avoid being hit all the time on your backhand, like there. Because most of the time you will have a weaker backhand when you make a build for this style. Of course, you have a strong forehand, so you have to take advantage of it to try and hit strong forehand. So my opponent wasn't very accurate there, and when he did retaliate, well, he did it very well. That's cool that he was playing with the choker chord string. I find that all opponents that I face in the 2-7 who are playing, who choosing the choker chords are having a hard time, really, versus the Maestro Monti, due to the stamina shield being only at tier 1. Yes, so that was not a very nice match. Due to the number of unforced errors committed by my opponent there. Yes, the windshield wiper is enough to outflank him. So this Kaito had very high agility of 89, but that was not enough to counter my serves correctly. And well, he didn't take advantage of his agility to outflank me. I had only a 56 agility, and he should have. I think he should have tried to hit much more on my backhand. Is not the opponent playing with the same build, high serve, solid forehand. Of course, this Victoria is having lower stats, so she was the outsider here. Much lower number of trophies as well. So. But well, because we don't see often high serve, solid forehand players in Tour 7, so I was happy to have a match to show with that style, because well, that's quite rare for me to face this high serve build in Tour 7. Not a lot of players choose it because it's not secure at all. As you can imagine, you have a very low agility with it. So if you don't end rallies in 3 or 4 shots after you serve max, well, you're kind of doomed. Because well, unless you are playing versus another Victoria, and in that case, well, both of you are having not too high agility. Oh, right. Let's take a look again. I think that she wasted the African string here. I shouldn't. I wouldn't have taken only the Maestro Monti to play with this build. Okay, a volley player. So I wanted to mix a bit the different play styles in this video. So this opponent doesn't seem to have a lot of experience volleying. She did some nice volley tough, but well, you're going to see that, but some of my passing shots were not very strong, and she just left them go through. Alright. Yes, there were some very nice volleys there.
2, 3.
So I was trying to hit the corners, but it was not always easy. When the volley player has some decent serve,
3.
it's not always easy. But as you can see, they were hitting some hard cross-court shots towards the corner, were enough to wrong foot and to beat this volley player. Of course, when she can counter by some volleys, that's very hard for Victoria to catch anything with an agility of only 56. But that's the risk that you take, of course, when you play with the high serve and solid forehand. You have a low agility. So, yep, she had 80 agility, 49 serve, which was decent. So let's play against Kaito. So here again, my opponent had a lower total power than me, so he was the outsider here. And this player is playing very well. I have faced him 7 times, towards 7, and he plays very accurately, and he tries to wrong foot a lot. He has a smart way of playing. And because he is used to wrong foot opponents, well, he anticipates quite well too. He feels when you want to out wrong foot him. But well,
3, 1.
his two hands don't have a lot of power, so I could prevail with my strong forehand of 72. And after a big serve of 76, well, it's not always easy for him. But he did quite well. Like here,
4, 2.
where he forced me to lose all stamina. So as you can see, any opponent playing with a choker core string is having a hard time. In Tour 7, I don't know for lower tours, but in Tour 7 is the case. I have seen that for a lot of matches lately, and you have seen that too in the matches that I have shown lately on Tour 7. And that's something that happened since the last hotfix in Tennis Clash beforehand. In the weeks that follow the big update of 7th of May, well, I didn't observe that problem with the choker cores, but afterwards, well, it started to be very fashion to play with Maestro Muncie. So here I can understand why my opponent was choosing the Toro Twine to try and take advantage of her strong two hands, forehand and backhand. She had a lower total power, so here again, normally I had the edge. So as you can see, whenever my opponent tried to return a weak forehand or backhand, that's easier to follow up with some strong forehand. There, my opponent was exploiting very well my lack of agility. She tried to serve on my backhand. She was a bit in a rush to try to hit on my backhand too quickly, and that cost her some unforced errors.
4, 3. Fault.
And I was trying to play either on her body or on her backhand.
5, 3.
I didn't want to let her have time actually on the serve. So immediately on her return, I tried to hit as fast as possible instead of taking time, and it was enough. So we have seen several play styles, all main play styles actually in this video. We have played the high serve, we have played counter puncher, the low aggressive baseliner, and the volley. So as you can see, that's what I said. This high serve solid forehand can counter a lot of different styles, well, provided that your opponent doesn't have a lot of agility, of course. That's much harder. I love the way the ball was flying there, slowly on his return. So here we are again for another match. This one is longer, and in this one, well, he was playing more accurately down the line. And this is exactly what you have to do actually if you want to outflank a not very agile Victoria, and you have to try and serve on my backhand. Yeah, once you have routed me to the spot, that's easy to hit a winner on the other side. Same thing for me.
3, 4.
So generally speaking, he was anticipating quite well myself, so he did not have a lot of problems returning it.
4, 5.
Sometimes you can see a lot of opponents having very high agility and not position, who don't position very well the character, so they end up returning the serves very weakly or do unforced errors. That was not the case of this opponent. Oh, right. Yeah. I was happy to hit the line there. Even with my weak backhand of 55. And that's enough. Of course, I know that it will be hard because he was losing stamina, and as you can see, when you lose stamina by the end of the match, it's very hard to try and catch any ball, especially when you have a weak serve. So here's my build for this high serve solid forehand. Well, I hope you enjoy watching me have some practice matches with the high serve solid forehand style with Victoria in the Tour 7 of Tennis Clash, a sports game published by Wi-Fi Studios. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel Gameplay 365 to stay tuned for new videos of Tennis Clash. Thank you a lot for your support, and see you soon in Gameplay 365. Bye bye.